Hello everybody, this is Adrienne with Ascension Soul Coaching. This is the week of May 1st through the 6th. So today I want to talk about conspiracy theories. I got these new cards. They're called Conspiracy Theories Tarot. And you know, a lot of things that's going on now, people think it's a conspiracy theory. Although the news is letting you know there's a lot of things going on, like they just announced on in the news that like 87 million jobs are going to be depleted or erased by 2027 because of AI. We have all these banks collapsing. We have, you know, the supply chain is messed up. They're changing the food, and they want us to eat less meat, less dairy, less sugary foods. So, and they want to create these 15-minute cities, and there is just so much going on. It's all converging together because they want to what? Reach their plan by 2030. So, I mean, my bank is closing very soon. They've already closed 47 branches, and so I have to find another bank, okay? So it's hitting me too. It's impacting me, and I cannot just sit here and not warn you people about what's happening as best I can. There's a lot of other people out on YouTube talking about these things and trying to get you prepared for what's about to happen as it's happening, and hopefully just wake up people and shake them and say, look, you got a plan. I don't do this to try to doom and gloom. I'm trying to help you plan and get ahead of the curve of what's about to happen, and it's going to be a lot going on. So I just want to do a reading. I love these. I haven't even gone through the cards, y'all, but I've shuffled them, and I don't know where it's going to fall out. But I wanted to give a reading. I'm going to do 4 cards, and I'm going to take 4 subjects, right? And I'm going to have one card come out for each of those subjects, and we're going to read the card and see, well, what is it saying? What do we need to do to prepare for what's happening? Okay. And what's behind what's happening, okay? So I'm going to just go ahead and start the reading, and we'll talk about it, okay? Each of the cards. This is worldwide, people. This is not just in the U.S. This is worldwide, and it's interesting that it's happening during a lot of the stuff is happening during the week of the Coronation. A lot of things started in March, and every quarter seems like something's about to happen. So let's just figure out what is happening and what's behind it and what can you do. So I'm going to start out with this card is for the banking situation. This card is for the job situation with AI. What's going on, what's behind it, and what can we do to plan. Oh, looks like that one fall. Okay, that's write this down. Banking, job. Okay, next one is going to be inflation. What's behind it? Oh, fell out already. What's behind it? What can we do about it? And the last card is going to be about the 15. Don't we do 15-minute cities? Let's do housing. Or do we want to do food? Let's do the supply chain in general. That's one card. All right. So we said the supply chain. All right. Let's read the issues that's going on. First card is reverse. Now these are tarot, so we can still read the reverse. First card is judgment. So this is regarding banking. This is the card writes that up. An area in the Atlantic believed to be responsible for time travel. Let's see what it says. The Bermuda Triangle. You've all heard of that. Out in the Caribbean. Okay, but it's reversed. Judgment. The second card is 2 of Pentacles, which is dealing with jobs. Marilyn Monroe, murdered for threatening to speak out against the Kennedys and Mafia. Oh, that's graphic. Okay, so we'll just put that there. Okay, and third card is Montauk, I'm not pronouncing it right, Project. This is regarding inflation. It's a government project formerly known as Black Hole Project in Montauk, New York, where experiments were conducted. Okay, that's the inflation. The last card is regarding the supply chain, and it's underground tunnels and bases. Not just tunnels and bases, but underground cities have been built since World War II. Now remember, I was about to say 15-minute cities, but I went and said supply chain. So we're going to read about that as well. Okay, so judgment. Regarding the banking situation. So judgment is like there's some poor decisions being made. Now I think that my opinion is that they're destroying everything intentionally so they can build it back better the way they want it to, because they wanted to go to the cashless society, right? And that's why they're trying to crash all these banks so we can have just 1 or 2 or 3 major banks worldwide that all deals with central backed digital currency, CBDCs. Okay. But they're putting a lot of doubt in people's minds right now about the stability of the financial situation. People are going to eventually start taking the money out of the banks and trying to just put it out other places so that they can save the money that they have. I think in our country you have the FDIC, which is just the federal deposit insurance, right? Up to $250,000. You'll be, if you have money in the bank, they're supposed to be covered, but people are very scary and they're going to start getting very worried, start worrying a lot about their money and if it's safe in the banks, because all these banks are crashing, right? And they're telling us everything's okay, but it's not. So you have to use your own logic and thought about what you're going to do with your money, okay, if you think it's in a safe place or not, okay? Now, the Two of Pentacles is regarding the jobs. So I'm not going to show you all these pictures about Marilyn Monroe, but you know, she died, they say, of an overdose, but people are saying it was a conspiracy because she was having an affair with the Kennedys and she was going to tell everybody that was going to happen. So her speaking too much got her in a little bit of trouble, so they say. But when we look at this is regarding jobs, you know, if they're telling us we're going to lose 87 million jobs to AI in the next 4 years, then we need to really be looking at other ways we can make money. You know, if they've already Davos and the World Economic Forum have already listed all the jobs. The majority of the jobs, they say they're going to be gone. So you need to go online and look that up. That they put out it's on their website, and they put stories out this week about people losing their job. Definitely going to lose their jobs in certain industries. So you have to look those up and then look at what you can do to re-educate yourself on a new type of business, how you can make money in this new world that's going to be coming up starting in 2025. And I can correlate this to Marilyn Monroe because Marilyn Monroe lost her last job before she died. She was doing, was it Something Like It Hot, I think? She was doing a movie and she got fired from the movie. So here we go. That's the connection. Then we have, I want to look this up, the Montauk Project. Let's see what that was. Okay, the Montauk Project is a conspiracy theory that alleges that there were a series of United States government projects conducted at Camp Hero or Montauk Air Force Base. So this is in conjunction. If you all have seen the Netflix show Stranger Things, this is connected with this conspiracy theory. So this happened in the 1980s. So there was a secret set of experiments legally performed by the United States, okay, in order to advance mind control technology. In addition to mind control experiments, the Montauk Project also supposedly studied time travel and interdimensional travel, among other things. Now, how does this correlate? Now, this is in regards to inflation, right? Inflation, so the card of Ten of Pentacles has, again, to do with money, okay? And in this regards to what's happening now is about your legacy. It's about what you leave behind, like your money, your home, your businesses. And so inflation is going to come, it's going to hit. The mind control, the whole thing about the WEF, if you believe that's happening, and it's UN Agenda 2030, is that it wants to control people. It wants to control the population, and it's going to pin us into certain areas and keep us there so they can control the number of people who are on the earth, because they want ultimate control over the situation, and they want to bring in the AI to take over the jobs. So I'm looking at what I wrote for inflation. If you have inflation, there's a lot of things you're not going to be able to afford, and you will be in the control of the government, because you won't have if you can't work, which if we're taking the jobs away, unless you have learned a new skill, especially with digital industry going on now, you don't have those skills of data analysis and engineering and all that, you might be left in the dust, right? So if you can't work, you can't find a job to work because you don't have the aptitude for these new jobs, then you'll be under control of the government, because where are you going to live, what you're going to eat, how you're going to, are you even going to have a car, are you able to afford any of these things with the inflation going up? I mean, there's a lot of things being rammed at us at the same time. The banks, the jobs, the inflation, all that's been hit right now, because it's like a control project that they're doing on us. That's my opinion. Okay, I'm just reading the cards, y'all, so don't get mad at me and think I'm saying something wrong. I'm just coming up with words that are just coming in my mind based on these cards, okay? And in the underground tunnels and bases, it's dealing with the supply chain, of course. And so, some people are saying that they're taking the food and the water and some of the supplies that we will need, and they're putting in the underground bases, right? So that the elites will be able to have food and shelter and money and wealth that we're not going to have. The people who are left here, they're storing stuff away for them. But the normal people, we're going to be living in these tiny little apartments because we're going to lose everything, because we don't have a job, we don't have the capabilities of staying. The food and the resources are going to be kept for the elites and not us. Four Swords is about protection and self-protection and planning for the future, taking a rest. It's going to be a lot of anxiety, so you're going to have to plan. So all this is about planning for your future. So here's the question. If these things were to take place, definitely, what would you do if the banks all collapse and they want you to go to CBDCs where they could track your money and everything you spend? Or if you lose your job and you can't work and make your house payment, your car payment, buy food, or the inflation, everything, and if you did keep your job, or if you were able to work, would you be able to afford anything, because inflation is going to be so high in the supply chain where everything is broken down, you can't get what you want to get when you want to get it, right? And the good stuff is left for the elites. What would you do? So here's a question. So what would you do if all this was supposed to happen by 2025? So we're going to pull some cards and see what you should be doing. Now these cards are from the Lantern Oracle Guidebook. Might have to read out of that. So, some advice. So let's see. Let's just pull out 4 cards. One for each of these. I don't know if it's going to answer the question, but let's just see, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, right? So if you want to get ahead of the curve, what do we need to do to deal with this banking crisis? How do we protect ourselves and plan for what's about to happen with the crisis with the banks? So, and I'm just going to do this. I'm going to turn a card over for each of these questions, these situations, possible scenarios. First one for the banking situation is intention. Lacking personal direction begets confusion, and life as a pawn to someone else's game of chess. And that's what I'm talking about with the WEF, right? We're not prepared for this. So you have to have intention with your money. What are you going to do with your money? Are you going to convert your money into supplies and security and physical assets? Take it out a little bit to put it away safely somewhere so you can spend it and protect your family. Are you starting to pay off your debts, and so you're not left in a situation where they can come take your stuff if you own it? Now I know that they can add more taxes on you even if you own something, but the biggest thing is owning outright your assets, like your house or your car, so you don't have to less of a worry about that. So you have to get intentional with your money right now. You have to really think about, these banks are crashing. What are you going to do unless you don't want to be left out in the cold with no control over your life? The next one is for, let's see, it was jobs, voice. You are here to be known, and so speak and be seen. So if you know that they're trying to take over these jobs, right, with AI, first of all, I think there's a lot of people coming out now saying they're concerned about AI taking over because it could become too smart. And if it's a super intelligent thing, it could outsmart the people who are actually creating it. And so I think now it's trying to jump on that bandwagon. If you are seeing people out there, especially the engineers and the makers, they say the godfathers of AI is actually saying we need to pause on this AI because it's growing too fast. It's going to become too powerful. I think the word they're using is singularity, where everything becomes one, and this thing at some point in time just accelerates far and beyond anything a human can think of. So we need to speak up and be vocal about what's going on and what we're not, and speak up about what we're not okay with and not comfortable with, and put pressure on the people in government to not do what they're doing, not to the extent that they want to do it, and without any safeguards or controls over this system that could just leave a lot of us without jobs. They already know it's going to leave a lot of us without jobs. Why would they do that to us? We need to voice our opinion and our concern, and I would say the good thing to say is we don't comply, but that's up to you. Third one, it was regarding inflation. So this one is, let's see if we can get it focused. Radical self-acceptance. You are perceived the way you are perceived. You are perceived the way you perceive yourself. So this card is in relationship to this Ten of Pentacles, where we're talking about money, right? And people controlling you. So if you, a lot of times we vote people in office and then we walk away after we get them in office and we let them run the show, and we don't take advantage of that we still have influence over what they're doing. We still have a voice. We still have a chance to be influential over these people. We put them in office thinking they're going to do what they're supposed to do for the nation, for the people, and a lot of times they're only in it for themselves because we let them off the hook once they get into office. Maybe we need to say, look, we need to be more responsible when they get in office of these people and hold them accountable while they're in office, and don't wait for the next election to try to vote them out, because at this point, the way the WEF is running, they're putting their own people in there, and they're putting their people in there way before the elections. They're actually picking these people and mentoring these people, and then they're paying for these people to run for office. It just make it look like it's, they're stacking the cards against us, right? And so we need to be more aware of what's happening and not being tone deaf and running away from the truth of what's really happening, and not closing our eyes to what's happening. We're the position we could possibly be in because we're allowing it. We're allowing them to control us because we don't care about politics, but politics is what's going to end up being the downfall of us if we don't pay attention. And then the last card is regarding the supply chain. Ooh, okay. Weeping wound. You are not your wound. So for me, I'm looking at this build back better thing where they're destroying everything just to build it back better for the elites. We're allowing them to cut things off. We're allowing them to tell us what kind of meat, if we can or cannot eat meat or dairy. They're taking over our farmlands and putting smart cities in there. We're allowing them to cut us, but we're smarter than and stronger than what we think we are. They can cut us, but we can heal at this point. We can stop a lot of things, by speaking up again and being intentional about our actions, okay? And being aware of who we are. We don't have to become these weak victims, because I think if we don't do anything, we will. But we have a chance to heal now, become stronger, tougher, more vocal, to make change. That is my opinion about what these cards are meaning to me. So anyway, that's my reading for today. I just hope that's have food for thought, right? This food for thought. Please leave your comments below. If you have any questions for me, that you can leave below, or you can email me directly at ascensionsoulcoaching@gmail.com. Anyway, y'all have a great night. Blessings.